Check, check. Hello. Let us know if you can hear us. But we're back again with another episode of Tech Support Live. This is going to be an hour-long show from 12 p.m. Pacific Time to 1 p.m. Pacific Time where we'll be able to help you out with any of these questions. And I'm so sorry. Oh, I think we lost Ben here.
Yep.
We lost Ben. It's okay. I might have to redo a little bit of that intro. Give me... Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Give me a quick second here. But Michael, we'll get you in here, and then we'll have to kind of resort this. Obviously, this is all live.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. But I think this should be a little okay. Again, you guys are completely seeing this all live.
This is all the magic behind the curtain.
All the magic. This is all the magic. So, like I was mentioning, this is an hour-long show. This is completely interactive from beginning to end, as you can kind of see here. So, excuse our difficulties here, but just to start us off, I'm Angelo. I'm a senior interactive media specialist here at NETGEAR. I manage this YouTube channel. I manage the Night Harbor Gaming Twitch channel. And really, if you follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, there's probably a chance that whatever you saw on that feed, that I had my hand on it at some point. I'll be your host for today, fielding our questions to our support experts, Michael and Darren, and then Ben when he rejoins the show, and then I gotta kind of rearrange everything here. Michael, you are up next to everyone here who's new.
Hey everyone, I'm Michael, Technical Support Manager at NETGEAR. I spend a lot of my time, playing with the products that we have, a lot of the new products, and here to help with any questions that you guys have. And over to Darren.
I'm Darren. I'm a customer support specialist and community moderator, and I cover almost all the CHP home products for NETGEAR on our community.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael and Darren, for joining me for another good show today. We're going to try to keep this fun and, keep it lighthearted. Hopefully everyone here who is coming back, I do notice you guys coming back here. Our beautiful regulars, our net gang, I think we still got to figure out if that's going to be our final word here. But just to shout you guys out, we got Dan Toom in the chat. I know we were chatting a little bit before. And also, everyone here is waiting for their shirts. It is my fault because I need time to drive over to the office. So I'm sorry, I just got to drive over to the office, and then we're going to be able to get those shirts out to you guys. It usually takes about 2 days to ship, so... hopefully you guys just cross your fingers and comment on our social media that we need more interns, and then we'll get those shirts over to you as soon as possible.
We know your hand's sewing each one. It just takes time.
Yeah. I like to sneak in little cards and stuff like that too. So
right.
If anyone's ever won anything from NETGEAR before, especially for Night Harbor Gaming, we usually kind of like to sneak in some letters. So if you're lucky and I got time, I'll be able to get those over to you. Yantuma, how you doing? Kendall Blake and Kev Herbert, how are you? Hamad, you are back, as well as Vanessa Kitty. Thank you guys so much for coming. And Jerry Williams, perfect. And Blending with Henry, we're really, really glad to know that this is something that you guys are looking forward to. So, that's kind of what we're here for. Keep you guys updated, keep you guys really in the loop of everything that's happening in NETGEAR, and really kind of just provide a space for us to kind of just hang out and interact with us here. But I don't see any questions yet. If you guys have any tech support questions, we're going to be able to get those answers to you. So really, I'll ask you, chat. How are you guys doing? Michael, Darren, how are you guys doing before we get some questions in?
Hey, it's Friday. I'm doing great.
Yeah. Yeah, really excited. It's finally clear here. That's what we're kind of talking about a little bit before the show. So I got my windows open, and really kind of just looking forward to this weekend. Perfect. But Hamad on the shirts. Yes, we will get those shirts over to you as soon as possible. But we appreciate you guys checking in on this. All right. I think we do have something coming in from Hamad on Talk on Bluetooth 5.1. I think that's a question.
Yes.
Whew, I don't know too much, honestly. I'm gonna have to toss that up. Michael and Darren, what do you guys think? Is that incoming?
Well, I know that it was only announced about, I think, a year and a half ago at one of the major conventions, at trade shows. And basically, it adds the ability to directionally find the clients that it's talking to. So it can tell by the angle that it's at, where the client's at, when it sends a signal out and coming back. And what it'll help with is less interference. Because right now, Bluetooth devices can easily get hit by interference from lots of different devices in your home. In fact, there's some Bluetooth mice that don't work well at all with certain routers because of some of the signal that's coming out of the routers. Oh, wow. And so this will just help clear up some of that and just make your Bluetooth devices a lot more reliable.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know that actually. Is that something that's going to be kind of rolling out to like the technology exists, and then the client devices got to start supporting that? So it's out right now and it's starting to roll out.
Right. It's something I believe I saw one device that was coming out that would support it. There's not a lot of devices that do at this point. Like any new technology, it takes a while for things to start rolling out. But I'll expect you'll start seeing it a lot with peripherals to start with. They'll probably integrate it into motherboards a lot more. And just over time, you'll start seeing that. And it also should be faster than the current version of Bluetooth as well. So it'll be able to push a little bit more data through.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you again. I gotta start taking notes on these things because I read tech blogs every day, but some of this stuff is just it's great to know and kind of be kept in the loop because it kind of goes hand in hand with also one being able to connect your Bluetooth devices, but just connectivity as a whole. That's something that we're really honed in here at NETGEAR, and hopefully that you guys as viewers are finding this helpful.
Well, and don't forget, Elon Musk is going to be launching his beta test of his cellular or satellite internet.
Oh, I heard about that one. Is that coming soon?
Not for everyone, but yes, the beta is supposed to be opening up soon for some of the northern states in the U.S. and in Canada. Oh, wow. And according to him, he wants the entire planet covered by the end of 2021. But we'll see about that, because I think they'd have to put up like 40,000 of these little miniature satellites to be able to cover the entire world.
40,000.
40,000.
40,000. Yeah, yep. And I heard there's a lot of debris out there too. That's crazy.
This is 40, just that 000. Much more debris.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it does make sense. I heard about that, but I was actually reading about like Neuralink, and then I heard that the test with the pig passed. So I'm on that side of the news. Okay. Awesome. All right. But cool. Kendall Blake, you got the question looking for the date for Call of Duty settings. I'm assuming that's one that's going to be rolling out to DumaOS in terms of kind of like the presets to Call of Duty, if I'm not mistaken. Unfortunately, we lost Ben here. Actually, let me go ahead and kind of like check my messages here and kind of what happened.
Yeah, sounds like he's been having a bad day.
Oh no. Okay. Oh, you know what happened? Remember when Alec got that notification on we're gonna reboot your computer?
Oh no.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
he didn't hit snooze.
It's he's installing a new OS. So unfortunately, we don't have his expertise here on the show, at least not until 38 minutes later when the new operating system installs. But what I could tell you is that highly encourage you. Kendall, I forgot if you are on the latest 3.0 beta, but as long as you guys are updating to the latest firmware and then really kind of, we're back. And I am all the way down here.
All right. He is connecting.
All right. Stay patient with us, guys. All right.
And while we're going on, Vanessa mentioned about 40,000 satellites blocking more starlight. Yeah, that is one of the complaints that astronomers are talking about already, is there's going to be that much more space junk up there that's going to affect astronomy. But then with the amount of garbage that's up there already, who's going to notice?
Woo. Well, hello.
As long as it doesn't fall back on us. Hello.
I'm back.
That's
So
what he went. He went to get his South Park background. That's what
I
There
he
you
did.
go.
I actually went to Colorado and
Yes.
back.
Woo! Look at us. We made it.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Hopefully we can straighten that technical
No.
bit out. So
half a person.
for those of you that want to know, every Friday we have a mandatory reset and reboot of our computers to do security updates and that sort of thing. And there's two buttons, one that says snooze and one that says reboot. And if you hit the little red X in the corner, it also reboots you. So I ended up having to do some security updates at the last minute, and I apologize.
No worries.
But it's for a good story.
It's
so here we are.
perfect. At least it wasn't 38 minutes. Like
I thought it was.
Yeah.
It first said an hour and 38 minutes, and then thank God for my quick. Well, here's a plug. Thank God for dragging out the file sharing last night on my DumaOS, because I was able to, with 600 down, I was able to quickly turn that hour and 38 minutes to 38 minutes to 6 minutes. So
Nice.
Boom. All right.
Boom.
You didn't miss too much. Besides, actually, we're about to get to your first question, so we're gonna kind of throw you in the deep end real quick.
Oh, great.
We got one from Kendall Blake. He's or they're interested in the date for Call of Duty settings. I'm assuming this is a preset for DumaOS.
Yeah, so that should be coming pretty soon. I talked to the team this week. They are working on it. The thing that took a lot of attention this week, which some of you may be excited about, is beta for the XR700.
Woo!
So hopefully we will have that before Halloween. So
Awesome. All right. Wow. That's actually a pretty good timeline. Then
it's a pretty big update. So
yeah. So and that actually goes into the next question, because Paulo, his question was, just bring some 3.0 love to the XR700. I'm desperate for it. So it looks like you answered that.
Yeah, so that's great, because the XR700 is a fantabulous machine. That thing is, we over-engineered that thing. That is the Veronica, the Hulkbuster. It has more power than what you'll ever need. And that's why when you look at the specs of the 1000, you go, "Ooh, well, this isn't as beefy." That's because the 700 is more. That's probably our most powerful router that we ever put out on the market. And Michael, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope, it definitely is.
That thing is the Hellcat of routers. It's just there's no reason that you'll ever use 710 horsepower. But they challenged us. They said, "Could you build it?" And we did. And so with that, we definitely still want to support that community, because you guys are awesome and outstanding, and keep like, I know you guys ask every week, but keep asking. The more you ask, the more I can say, "Hey, I had 5 questions today. When the heck is this coming?" So
And it makes a great space heater too.
it does. That thing, it does get a little warm. And if you do have it, don't put it in a closet. Don't put it in a cubby. Don't
hang it on the wall. It's got 2 mounting holes back there.
Mount it on the wall.
Yep.
And let it breathe. It's like fine wine. Let it breathe.
Fine wine. Yeah. Awesome.
In fact, while you're mounting it on the wall, have a glass of fine wine. Makes it go so much easier.
It makes everything so much easier. So,
It is Friday. It is Friday.
Happy Friday. So here we are. So.
Yep. And Vanessa Kitty's right. The X in the upper corner should always just close a window without ever doing anything.
It should. It should. I did fire off an email saying, "Hey, could we, schedule these, at a little bit better time?" So.
Yeah, they just want to make sure everyone's computer's running, and they know in the middle of the day everyone's computer's running.
Yeah, especially when you're doing a live stream.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Right on the star.
It's
Yeah, I know,
always
just kinda
like,
funny.
and we've, and to be honest to our audience, we've dodged this bullet like I don't know, like at least like the four of us and Alec, the five of us, like once every Friday for like the last month. I'm surprised that we hadn't had this happen prior. So.
Well, I ran across
Bound to
similar
happen.
problems doing trade shows and Apple phones, because we use a lot of the Apple phones there to demo, and they would allow you to postpone the iOS updates only so many times, and then it says sorry, and it just starts doing the update. And it's always when it's right in the middle, you're going to do a demo, and then suddenly the phone jumps in and says, nope, sorry, we've got to do this update right now. And you know it's going to be gone for a half an hour.
Oh, man.
I won't say what company I was working for, but it was a mobile game company, and we're proudly displaying at New York Comic Con. And we had the same thing with our iPads, where all of a sudden our iPads were like, nope, sorry, you are updating. And, you know, you get the, hey, how come this isn't working? And you look and you're like, oh no.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Thank you guys for the likes. I know there's 20 of you guys watching. Half of you guys already think that this cobbled together content that we have this morning is fantastic for you. So much love to you guys.
And Jerry Williams, he's saying spam the chat for the extra 700 to get DumaOS
Do it.
3.0, please. Yes, we want to know exactly how many people are wanting this, and you know, again, people know exactly what we're doing, what we're up to. So you guys are spamming the chat. We're gonna be able to spam our product managers.
Yes.
And we will get that to you sooner rather than later. But again, for the 20 of you guys that are in here, remember that this is an hour-long show from 12 o'clock Pacific time to 1 o'clock Pacific time. So we highly encourage you guys to get your tech questions in. This is really your best way to, well, one, you don't have to get on the support line and then give a call if there's something that we could possibly help out with, whether you want to upgrade your network, whether you're running into issues, maybe you want some help with DumaOS. We just got Ben back, so happy to hear what you guys got for us today.
Yeah, we got one from Blending with Henry, which, by the way, obviously a blending channel, but also pretty awesome name.
Yeah, I missed last week. There was we got Food ASMR and then Blending with Henry, I think, at the same time. We got some niche communities coming in this channel.
Hey, we welcome the blending community.
Yes.
I have a blender.
Miss it.
So.
A Blendtec blender.
I have actually one of those Vitamixes, which is
those are good
incredible.
ones.
I don't know how it can make ice cream. Like, it's magical because it can make ice cream and it can make hot soup. I don't.
So how about Blending with Henry? We'll help you out with your question, and then you give us tips for things to blend.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Oh, so let me read this off. The routers mention 2x2 and 4x4. How would a user know if they had a or if they have a 2x2 or 4x4 client on their network?
There really isn't any way to know, unless you actually go and check the specs on the client, and that would tell you whether it has a 2x2 or 4x4 antenna array. Normally, the only way is just speeds. If you've got a 4x4 client connecting up to a 4x4 router, your overall number of lanes of traffic is a lot more, so you can actually push through a lot more data, which means you're probably going to be seeing a lot faster speeds. But there is nothing inside the routers that you can go in and see whether it's a 2x2 or 4x4 client connected.
Awesome. And maybe to anyone who is new to the chat or the conversation here, 2x2 and 4x4, just kind of clear everything up. So that is on the antenna arrays.
Right, that's on the antenna arrays. Basically, how many antennas that they have inside? 2 in, 2 out, 4 in, 4 out. And the more antennas you have, the more data you can actually push through.
Awesome, cool.
I think for what was it? April Fools, we were gonna put out a router with 10 antennas everywhere. And just
right. Get one of the ones that's like the crab, and then just keep gluing a bunch more antennas onto it.
The dead spider routers. There's I think the mock-up that we did. I wish we had it. If we could just.
Yeah.
But it looked like a virus. It was
Yeah.
just like
I think it was also like part microwave too, right?
I think it was. Yeah, you could actually heat up your food.
Sounds very safe.
Christopher has a great question. So, what's the best way for me to learn and understand and use all of the Duma 3.0 features? I feel like I run into more issues than problem solving with my 500 in the Duma. There is a quick start guide, and it is for Duma 2.0. We're working on one for 3. But there is a quick start guide in the community forums. It should be floated to the top. Let me see if I can find it and put it into the chat. But it should help get you most of the way. I think that the common problems, and maybe if you guys want, we could do an hour on DumaOS as a supplemental, probably like a Tuesday show. But the places where you get into problems is bandwidth allocation. You allocate too much bandwidth to gaming. You turn it on, and you're like, I have 600 coming down, but my speed only shows 200. That's because you're reserving two-thirds of your bandwidth for gaming, and so that means that 400 megabits per second are reserved. That's the number one big thing. The second is in the prioritization flower under QoS, where you can drag and drop for the different genres of traffic, and you can get yourself in trouble there by I want 50% of my bandwidth going to gaming, and then everything else is slowed down. So you just have to really kind of look. I think it's probably better. Oh, great. I think it's better if you err on the side of being conservative at first and then bumping it up than if you make big drops, like I want 50% of my bandwidth here and 25% of my bandwidth there. Because it will... It's easier to correct those from smaller adjustments than from larger adjustments. But yeah, I'll definitely look into it. Jerry also agrees that an hour on DumaOS would be awesome.
Also doing a bunch of mini how-tos on the various functions in Duma that might be helpful. So like we've been talking about bandwidth allocation, that would be great.
We've been talking about that for a while. The thing is trying to do it without showing too much of your IP.
Right.
That's always I think you have to go back through and redact all your IP information as an edit. But something along those lines, so we could kind of show you some tips and tricks. Like we've identified the first beta build that we're working through will be released. Yes, that is true. It is coming, and it's just a matter of getting it through our QA before it gets to you guys as well. So it has to have some minimum standards. We don't want to release a beta that's going to like brick everybody's routers, because that would be, as they say in the industry, no bueno.
No bueno. Yes.
And Hamad had a question about, is there a limit to the number of antennas you can have? Theoretically, no. Realistically, absolutely.
Yes.
Because the RF designers for our routers have to worry about interference from one antenna onto another antenna, spacing, as well as the number of inputs going in the motherboard then have to be separated in such a way so they're not interfering with other components. So yeah, there definitely is a limit there based on the size of the device and just how much power and noise are coming from each one of the antennas. The most I've seen on one of our routers, I think, is 8 antennas. And I don't know if we'll ever see more than that. Then it does start looking like that, bug or virus that Ben was talking about. But yeah, there definitely is physical limitations because you don't want interference between the signals that are coming in and out of the antennas.
And with that, like the more antennas you get, like each one of those are beam forming, right? Or
Yep.
most of the time.
Um,
Wouldn't you get like
yeah.
interference from having too many of those in the same?
You could. You need a lot more logic there. So as it's sending out data, like for instance, if you've got a 4x4, it can actually send out information to one device on 4 different antennas. So it can break it up into 4 pieces. So you can actually get a lot more data going through faster. And the more antennas you have, the more it has to figure out how can we send stuff out without conflicting with other things that are either going out or coming in.
I actually have a question here, just like food for thought. Because I actually still to this day run a lot of the surveys here from NETGEAR. So one thing that I've noticed is that when it's an external antenna, people perceive as the router as being faster than a product that, let's say, has internal antennas. Is there a performance gain, actually, when you really kind of drill it down, with a product that does have external antennas? You could literally see it, maybe, versus something like Orbi, which has internal antennas. Is there any gain in that?
There can be. It depends. There are different types of antennas that you can actually use that'll increase the power gain on the antennas slightly. Also, externally, it's easier to do beam forming because the antennas are spaced farther apart. And something like Orbi, those antennas are packed very close together. So there can be positive benefits, but at this point, they're able to engineer it so that you can have internal antennas and get similar types of speed and performance that you do with the external. But with the external, it has more capability to do more if they wanted to.
Oh, okay. See, these are things that I kind of figure out from these servers. Like, oh, that's an interesting thought. But at the end of the day, as you guys we want to kind of give you a little bit of that kind of sneak peek, I guess, from kind of like a product level, because otherwise you're not going to be able to read that on our website. So thank you, Michael. I really appreciate the information there.
Yep. Ooh. And actually on, for instance, the R9000, it has something that we have called active antennas.
Okay.
And that's something that we don't have on things like Orbi that have the internal antennas. And with the active antennas, it allows them to take a weak signal that's coming in, amplify it inside the antenna itself before it sends it down to the motherboard, where then it gets amplified more. And the stronger the signal is before it actually hits the motherboard to be amplified, the cleaner the signal is. Because in the motherboard, when it's amplifying the signal, it's also amplifying the other garbage noise around it as well. So the more power that you have coming in, the less amplification it needs. And so that's one positive thing the R9000 has. And I believe that the XR700 has the same antennas.
Yeah. Yes,
and,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, now those active antennas actually do give maybe about up to 10%, better signal strength.
Wow. Actually, that's pretty cool. That's because the R9000 and the XR700 in terms of the hardware should be pretty similar.
Yep.
So yeah, all of you guys in the chat here who do have an XR700, spam in the chat DumaOS 3.0. But then we're gonna feed you little tidbits about your product that you may not, or maybe you did know. But this is all really great stuff. Thank you. So I guess we got to start thinking of more DumaOS content, Ben, because we got some wishes in the chat.
Yeah, no, it's easy to come up with content for that. I think we could spend an hour of questions. Hey, how do I set this up? Hey, I got a problem here. What can I do here? And maybe we could put together a think tank of people to answer questions. So many people don't know this, but Darren is an expert on Duma 3.0 or DumaOS.
Darren just got tossed up.
Darren has the XR700. So
yeah, I wish I could use the features more, but with having fiber internet, I have to use it as an AP more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, chat. How about you let us know what you want us to do a tour of, whether it's QoS or maybe it's geofencing. Let us know the features.
Issue? What's the hardest thing for you to understand setting up, and we'll kind of cater some responses to that.
Yeah, we'll form the live event actually around what you guys say. So you guys have 30 minutes, but let us know. We'll turn this kind of into a DumaOS brainstorming session. It's
Totally.
gonna help
And
us
if we
out
could
on what we could make.
If we can get eight thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Maybe a couple of, and if you can, if Angelo, I don't mean to throw Angelo under the bus, but if Angelo fixed the bell, you should be.
I did fix the bell. Okay. I thought we checked it last week.
I thought we did.
We did. It's kind of weird. If you guys are having issues hitting the bell, because we ran into this last week. We had someone tell us that he couldn't get notifications because like if you hit that bell. This is a YouTube. I can't say too much. It was a bug. It's a bug where YouTube will think that this stream is like there's new laws. I forgot what the ones coming from Europe.
Yeah,
I forgot
it's
the
all.
acronym. But now we got to mark if this content is targeted towards children, which is it's technically not because it's not a kid show. But I think the bug, like, it's like mixing it in, even though we say it's not. Either way, if you guys have issues, you got to unsubscribe and then resubscribe and then hit the bell, and then it's going to work. Cool. All right. I'm going to start scrolling down through the chat. Hopefully at the bottom there's going to be a couple DumaOS feature requests, but I'll go ahead and Dave, you are up next. So he says, last week I found out that my EAX80 used with a non-Wi-Fi, non-NETGEAR router is not going to give me guest Wi-Fi. What would be a cheap, easy solution to provide guest Wi-Fi for those kinds of occasions?
Define your definition of cheap, because that always would change things. One solution is just replace the router.
Well, that's the easiest and cleanest solution because you get a router that actually has a guest Wi-Fi on it, and then the EX80 is going to support that.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of other solutions, like if you wanted to take a cheap other router and create an SSID for that that's just for your guests, but that's not going to isolate it from the rest of your network.
Right.
The best you can do is, give it a different subnet, but even then, it's easy to span across a subnet if you know what you're doing. So that I don't think there's any easy way to add a guest network in there without replacing that main router.
Okay. So
yeah, I think that's going to be kind of it seems to be the heart of the issue is that non-Wi-Fi, it'd be easier to just replace that router with a one that is a Wi-Fi router.
Yeah. And Dave, just to kind of clear things up, especially with the rest of the audience here. So the EX80 will work with even a current ISP provided router, even a competitor's router. It will work, but what we want to ensure that you can get is guest Wi-Fi. And what you would need is to get a router that can support guest Wi-Fi from the get-go. I don't clarify me or correct me if I'm wrong, but the EX80 itself can't split guest Wi-Fi for you. You have to get it from the router, and then it's going to amplify that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And for those people that don't know what we mean by the guest Wi-Fi, is that there's certain routers that NETGEAR has that offer something called a guest Wi-Fi, which is a completely separate SSID that you can have your guests attached to, and it's a direct connection out to the internet, and it can't communicate with anything else on your local network, so that you don't have to worry about someone jumping onto your network and then starting browsing all the other machines that are on there. This is just a nice, easy way to say, okay, friends are coming over. Here's a Wi-Fi SSID and password you can connect to that'll give you your internet access, but the rest of your house is still secure.
Yeah, and that's very helpful, especially if you got like computers on the public network, or maybe you open that up and then you're sharing files between computers, or maybe you got like a ready NAS and you want to make sure that all that stuff is secure. That guest Wi-Fi won't let those devices connected to that guest Wi-Fi to access those devices. So, really secure way to give your guests good Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
But yes, Dave, we would recommend you to either take a look at what we got on the NETGEAR online store. We have a good amount of routers that do support guest Wi-Fi. But I mean, let us know kind of like what your budget and kind of like what you're thinking about here. Because your EX80 will work right now, but if you want to get guest Wi-Fi, we'll try to get you to that next step and find something that does fit for you, not just the biggest and the best. Because that's the easy way. All right. Just follow up from Christopher. He agrees that DumaOS 3.0 going to be a great tool, but I think there's a little bit of that learning curve. So, again, this is my reminder to everyone in the chat. If you guys want us to do a DumaOS like guided tour live stream, we would love to do it, but we want to know which features you guys want us to go over. It'll help us kind of prioritize the amount of time that we spend per feature and the questions that we might want to answer.
Hate to spend some time on a feature that you guys don't actually use. You know.
Yeah, we could go through the advanced settings tab and for an hour.
God, advanced settings. Let's see what else we could do. How to change your password for the Wi-Fi.
Oh, boom! Change your Wi-Fi name too. That'd be a good one.
Now, how to turn the lights on and off.
Perfect. Ooh.
Yep.
Is it?
That's a good half-an-hour show right there.
Yeah,
that is
very much so.
That is. All the NPG products, are those all compatible with Alexa or the A word?
Are they? So if you have an Alexa device, it should work through that network. But can you say, Alexa, do something really cool with my Nighthawk Pro gaming router? Alexa will probably say, I don't understand.
But I think we could do like turn on guest Wi-Fi, turn off guest Wi-Fi.
I think there's some basic commands that are inherent across all of Netgear. Don't quote me on that, but that's something that's interesting that we should actually find out.
Yeah, I know it's on Orbi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's something that we rolled out to a good amount of our products, but that was just kind of my general question: is it available on?
Oh, it'd be so cool,
because then we could actually do the lights thing.
And I know it takes development time, but it'd be so great if you could just Alexa nuke the internet on the Switch, and it just no internet goes to the Nintendo. And
currently, there's about 10 commands that you can give it. Some of them will work on some routers and not others. Like for instance, asking what's my internet usage, what's my ISP speed, disabling, enabling traffic metering, and of course turning your guest Wi-Fi on and off. But it's very basic commands, and some routers don't actually allow you to have traffic metering, so that command wouldn't work at all. So there are a few commands, but not a lot.
No, give it a shot. If anyone has a router that does support Alexa, we would love to know what your guys' experience is. And if there's, again, we want to keep this bi-directional, whether it's a tech support question or, you guys want some features, because this is stuff that we could pass off to our product teams, product managers. I'm sure they would love to hear it. So, cool. I want to play around with it more, honestly. I got, my whole house is tapped out, so... might as well take use of it, right?
Might as well.
If you're listening in, might as well give them what they want.
Yep.
All right. But we got a follow-up from Hamad, and I think we did answer this a little bit earlier on the show, but really it's just kind of like crystal clear cut on the external versus internal antenna kind of conversation we had. Is it better? And then just like taking up raw meaning of the word better, is an external antenna better than internal?
And the answer is yeah. Theoretically, it is, because there is more capabilities that you could put into an external antenna, like for instance that amplification I was telling you about on the XR700. Also, you can adjust the directions of the antennas, but that's more of a squishy thing because no one's ever come up with the perfect configuration on how you should adjust the antennas on that. And as far as speed, we're able to push through the same amount of speed on our Orbis that we have on our routers that have 6-8 antennas right now. So speed-wise, you're really not going to be losing anything. They're having the internal antennas. But capability-wise, they can have more capability if they want to build it into it. And there are some routers that allow you to replace the antennas with higher gain antennas. We don't have many of those. Most of ours are fixed antennas. But yes, that's always a thing for the tinkerers. They want to go, well, can I get another 5 or 10 dB antenna that I can plug in there so I can pump the gain up a little bit more on the signal I'm putting out?
Can you?
On some things you can, yes. But most of the time, it has very little effect.
Because I do think that there is a follow-up coming in from Vanessa. She's interested in the M5,
Yep.
which I do remember from our mobile show. I think that one caught your attention, and we'd love to be able to answer any questions you have on that one. But is it possible to amplify the M5 with any kind of external antenna?
I
That's a
do
good
not
question.
believe the M5 has internal antenna slots, but let me take a quick look just to see.
That's an interesting kind of question.
Yeah, and I know the question that she was asking was, does it have one or two SIM slots? And it only has one SIM slot. But its biggest thing is it supports 5G.
Yep.
And yeah, I just checked the M5, and no, that's one of the smaller square models that we have. So all the antennas are built in, and there isn't an external antenna connector.
There is an external antenna.
No, there is not an external antenna
there is
connector.
not. Okay.
Yes.
Yep. But Vanessa, let us know what you learned through your research, because I think especially as we start rolling this product out, I think it really is a game changer in a lot of ways. Combining 5G and Wi-Fi 6 in one product. There's especially like pulling all these stories that I'm actually finding on the internet. We got a lot of people that live in rural areas where the broadband really isn't much of an option, but these hotspots are actually kind of coming in to save the day here. So love to kind of see what you guys are using these products for, because I think it's very different depending on who you're talking to.
Yep.
But
And actually, I go back on that, I got a good look on the M5 on the base, and it looks like there might be two slots that you could put antennas. They're currently covered up with plastic covers. But
Really?
most of the time, those ports usually are for being able to connect antennas. So I'd have to look into that a little bit more to see if that's what they're there for. But yeah, I've seen those two plastic covers before, and usually when you pull them off, there will be a round screw-on where you can actually screw on an antenna.
Wow. Okay. So maybe there is a possibility here. Follow-up from Vanessa actually on the bottom of the chat here. She's saying, I thought there were two TS9 antenna ports on the M5. Is this?
Yep, and that should be the ones that are covered by the rubber covers.
Wow. You guys are figuring out these things with these products that we're still getting out to people's hands here. So you guys are ahead of the curve. Wow, that's really, that'd be really interesting to see if we could get that working, because it's a pretty interesting use case. It could really be a good viable substitution if you want to rely more on 5G rather than something like broadband. And even just to that, we also have something called the Orbi LTE as well. So if you guys are looking at the M5, but maybe you do want to see how you could use that as like a home solution, there's something that we just announced pretty recently. It's the LBR20. It's the Orbi LTE Wi-Fi router. Essentially, it's like an Orbi, but you could put in a SIM card, and it pretty much you could switch back and forth. Maybe your broadband's not super reliable, and then maybe it cuts out. It's just gonna seamlessly switch over to LTE, and you're not gonna be able to kind of notice the difference on your client end. But see, lots of interesting stories that I think we're gonna be able to hear from in the next couple of months.
And it's also useful for people that live in rural areas where they don't have broadband, and the only thing available is satellite. I have a friend that just moved up to Livermore, and you'd think Livermore, of course they'd have broadband. No, they live out in the quote country,
What?
just a few miles out of town.
You'd be surprised.
There's no broadband, and they have satellite, but their satellite is, very slow. And of course, their house also has a metal roof, which means that when they're trying to use their phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, they literally have to go to the edge of the house, put the phone there, just so it'll get a cellular signal.
Oh,
What?
Yep.
And I just think Livermore Bay Area, like, you guys are set. Apparently, wow, the world's bigger than we really think.
That's why he never replies to my texts. I send him texts, he never gets back to me. It's because he's nowhere near the side of the house to be able to pick him up.
Oh man, he's got to get like a WhatsApp or something, and then just always be connected to the internet. Man, but really cool stuff. A lot of stuff we're cooking up for mobile. But cool, we're actually almost down to our last 15 minutes here.
Oh, wow.
A little bit past
I've got a couple of quick updates real quick for a couple of people.
Okay.
One, Shady Joker, I helped him out through Xbox Live.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm glad that IPv6 is working. So, yeah, it's just a matter of resetting everything.
Nice. Were you the tech support person? Shady
Yeah.
was mentioning.
Renee Gonzalez. has. I have a CM 1100 modem. I just recently bought the XR 1000. What's the best thing to do with my XR 500? Having two networks with a modem with different Ether ports, or should I put the XR 500 in AP mode? So I'm gonna give you two answers on that. One is a philosophical question answer, and one is a practical. I would give that XR 500 to somebody that needs some gamer that you know. Spread the word, get it out there. That like with Duma and Nighthawk Pro Gaming. I have XR 1000. I am giving the gift of gaming with my XR 500. I am actually going to go to FedEx today and send it off to somebody. But can you have? You'd have to put it in AP mode. But now you have. You'd have to then wire that XR 500 from the 1000. Correct, Mike?
Yes.
And then you could run wired off of that XR 500 as well.
Yep. Yep.
But
and a quick add-on to Vanessa about the M5. I actually found a site where they specifically have a whole set of antennas for the NETGEAR M5. External antennas, aerials, and also patch leads between. So there are already companies that are making antennas that'll work with it.
Wow. Okay.
And they look to be somewhere between 4 and maybe 7 or 8 dB gain antennas. So not too bad.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really cool. Again, this is a product that's like barely out, but highly encourage everyone to start checking that out. 5G really is going to be such a game changer. It's super fast from what I've been reading.
Yep, yeah. But it will, most of the time with 5G, you're going to need some sort of an external antenna that will bring the signal inside your house, because 5G is going to be affected by the walls of the house a lot more than 4G does, because like our 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, that's affected by material a lot more on the 5 gigahertz. So with the 5G, same thing, where it'll probably have to drop back to 4G when you're inside the house, unless you have a way to retransmit the signal from outside the house to an internal antenna that then talks to your 5G devices.
Oh, wow. Okay. Also, new thing that I've learned, because I'd imagine it is a higher frequency, so that's going to be more impacted by the distance and pretty much, the materials that are, might be interfering with that.
Yeah, definitely is going to be, you're going to notice it inside buildings. It'll probably drop back to 4G speeds. As soon as you step outside, it can go up to 5. But there already are products that are designed to take signals from outside a building and then retransmit it inside a building. In fact, if anyone remembers the external antennas for cars, for your cell phones, where because the cell phone didn't put out enough power, you'd actually have a little metal plate on the inside of your glass and another metal plate on the outside with the antenna. It would hit that plate, transmit it through the glass, and then send it up through the antenna so you'd get better reception. So they have similar types of devices that they should be able to transmit that 5G through the walls to the interior of the house.
I kind of remember that. People were complaining they can't take calls in their cars, and then they put that, and now they're like, oh, you guys are calling too much in your cars. So, so stop that.
Now it's all built into the car.
Yeah,
now you can actually have Wi-Fi signal boosted off of your car too.
You can play games in your cars now. It's nuts.
It is. It's crazy.
All right.
We've only got a few more minutes left.
do.
If we can get a couple of thumbs up, that would be fantastic.
Yep,
It'll make our bosses happy and it'll allow us to come back next week.
Yeah, if we could get 20.
If we can get 20, that would be crazy.
We'll start marching towards that the DumaOS live stream. We got a comment from Jerry. He's looking for QoS and connection benchmark. So we'll see. This is actually really helpful for us to know, and then we'll be able to start planning our content around that.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Right. Dave, we wanted to make sure he's followed up on the guest network question for his EX80. His comment is, the Nighthawk app on iOS seems to identify all wireless connections as 5G, but I know some devices are 2.4. Can someone have a look at that? I am using the EX80 in AP mode. I'm actually very curious about that.
And then he also has another comment way down here. Should have asked also, if I use the EX80 with wireless network router from NETGEAR to get guest Wi-Fi, can I continue in AP mode, or do they need to be used as extenders?
I believe it needs to be used as an extender to be able to
That's
get
what I
the
thought.
guest Wi-Fi.
For his other question, yeah, that's a common visual issue that happens within the app and within the routers attached devices. I definitely keep reporting those when we see them for devices not reporting what if they're on the 2.45 or wired correctly.
All right. Yeah. So I think we are aware of that. I don't know, Darren, if there's like something that they're working towards to kind of start moving on that, but I think it is good to know that we are aware of those kind of visual discrepancies.
Yeah. Hey, we need 3 more likes. 3 more likes.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
a quick
I feel
answer
like-
to Vanessa
feel like
Kitty on what site I found the antennas. It's called CAMPAD, CAMPAD, and it looks like it's out of Australia. But yeah, they're the first company that I pulled up that looks like they have a nice selection of antennas specifically for the N5.
And then, okay, well, one, Dave, just make sure that you are staying updated in terms of the Nighthawk app, and then I think our development team is aware of that. So, hopefully, as long as you're staying updated, you're going to be able to hopefully get those kind of fixed without you having to do anything. All right, and then just going down to Dan K, he does wish us. He hopes everything is good. We hope everything is good with you as well, Dan K. But you did mention you contacted NETGEAR Support. But you're still running into kind of some slowdown issues. If there's any more details you could throw at us, we'll be able to hopefully at least accommodate it during this show. And then if not, if we run out of time, again, highly encourage everyone to get your questions in early, because we're going to go in chronological order. The earlier you are in the show, the first we're going to be able to get to those. So send us more details. We're going to get to them as soon as we can. All right, and... Okay, Blending with Henry does have a good question here. What is the technical reason why the RX200 offers up to 4,800 megabits per second on a 5 gigahertz when the RBR850 has a faster processor but offers only 2,400 megabits per second on the 5 gigahertz band?
That's just the hardware that they decided to put in there for the Wi-Fi. And it's just the chips that they're using.
Yeah, it's the Wi-Fi broadcaster. It's not really the processor isn't broadcasting. There's another chip that broadcasts, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael, isn't it also with Orbi? It's having to dedicate to the 5 gigahertz backhaul some of its resources. Maybe why that it would be a lot slower.
It has enough horsepower with its processor and memory that it shouldn't have to limit the speed on the second 5 gigahertz band.
Okay.
And the amount of data that's being pushed through usually should not be a problem. But I do know that the Wi-Fi chips that they use, each one of them varies, and the speeds and throughputs on the chips are going to control what the optimal speed is, and that's more of a project manager decision on making a product within a certain price range with certain feature sets, which is always a trade-off when they're creating new products.
Because sometimes they have to make a decision. Okay, we wanted to have better processing power, but in that case, in order to keep it within a price range, we may have to take a hit on what the Wi-Fi speed is, or vice versa, actually.
And also trying to hit specific target audiences. Sometimes they'll say there's a certain segment that one router may be a little too expensive for, another one is cheap enough but doesn't have the feature set, so they'll create something specifically to fill in that slice, so you have a selection from top to bottom.
Wow. Yeah, so just to kind of drill it all down, it's never really kind of black and white, one's faster and then it's all of a sudden going to be faster everywhere. There's a bundle of kind of factors that run into that, especially from a product development kind of perspective. We had our virtual event series. We actually took a pause on that for now, just because we got some craziness kind of leading up to CES, which is one of the biggest days of the year. Once the dust kind of settles, we're going to bring back our weekly Tuesday shows. I'll be your host. So, so look forward for that soon. All right. We're just kind of getting down to our last few minutes here. I wanted to make sure that we could at least kind of like get over some of these final questions coming in. Vanessa, you mentioned tracking numbers for delivery. I think that's on the shirt. I have been ending my days like every day this week at like 7, so it's like unfortunately we have like pretty strict kind of time windows for who could be in the office at some point. They close at 5 strictly, so I'm trying to find time next week. So that is my fault. You guys could yell at me for the shirt.
And in all honesty, Angelo, it's great that he's on this stream because right now Angelo's time is precious.
Yeah. So I appreciate
He's working
that
on a
support.
couple of big projects and which we can't talk about, but
Yeah.
but his time is at a premium at this moment. So.
Just promise you guys will watch CES material because that's going to be pretty good and it's going to be completely virtual. That's not what I'm working on, but I'm gonna hand it off to our other team who are they're working hard on that as well. All right, cool.
Two more.
Dave,
we just need two more.
we got two more. Dave, want to make sure that you got this one in. Looking to replace the router, but is looking for a high-end one. Work, VoIP, video, VPN pass-through, Ethernet link to optical fiber. Guest Wi-Fi and also works with the EX80. That's a good wish list. Wow. But if you want mainly for work, VoIP, VPN, I'm wondering if even the BR200 or any of our kind of NETGEAR business kind of products, I wonder if that would actually kind of be a good choice. Or even Orbi Pro, Wi-Fi 6.
Yeah. Or I'd say any of the Wi-Fi 6 Nighthawks.
Yep.
Like four stream or better. So you're looking at like 6 stream, 12 streams.
Check it. Okay, so just to drill it down, and I'd be happy to. Unfortunately, we're starting to run out of time here, so if you're able to come back next week, we'll be able to kind of like take a little bit more time one-on-one with you to kind of understand what you're looking to upgrade. Those are my favorite kind of questions, honestly. That's the ones I'm better at. But check out any Nighthawk Wi-Fi 6 product. I would suggest Orbi Pro Wi-Fi 6 as well, and even the BR200, which is our on our NETGEAR business side. It's a pretty simple kind of router, but it will have a lot of those VPN kind of VoIP work-based related applications that you were kind of wishing for. Aiden, I think we did run out of time a little bit for you, but I did see Christine. She was helping you out from the NETGEAR account. I think the engineering team is still working on it, so I think that you toss out your email in there as well, and we'll be able to reach out to you one-on-one. But besides that, I think we're actually kind of wrapped up because
if we could just get 2 likes, just 2 likes to get us over
2
20.
likes. Yes.
Please. And
we'll
then
be so
Dan
happy.
K said that he basically tried a modern modem router from NETGEAR, but the connection's not feeling great. It's DSL fiber. That's always difficult, especially with fiber, DSL and fiber. Well, a lot of ISPs like to use their own proprietary technology at this moment, but that's starting to break up a little bit. As that does, we always like to come in and help everybody. Thank you, 20 likes. That's fantastic.
Excellent.
We did it. Thank you so much, everybody. You guys will make me really excited to. Actually, Alec might be here next week to host, depending on kind of our time here. But in any case, yes, any questions that you guys weren't able to get answered in full today, please come back next week. We'll be back again from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time.
Or send us an email with the Stay Connected.
Yes.
And we will get to them. I will make sure that I don't accidentally. I will hit snooze next week. So,
No updating.
No worries.
updating.
No worries. No. It's one of those things that, makes the show actually feel alive and, hopefully that you guys, kind of see it like everything's virtual, everything's live. But thank you everybody again for joining. We had a really great show. We'll see you guys next week. Please, we got to 21 likes, so please give a like, please give a subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified every time of these live events.
Thank you all, and we'll see you next week. And start thinking of your DumaOS questions.
Yep, we'll start putting a wish list together.
And we'll put something together for you guys.
Cool. All right, looking forward to it. All right, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
next
Have
week.
a great weekend.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe.